בעזרת השם נעשה ונצליח, והשם עלינו ברחמיו ירוויח. ויגש אליו יהודה, ויאמר, בי אדוני ידבר נא עבדך דבר באוזני אדוני, ואל יחר אפך בעבדך, כי כמוך כפרעה.
Then Judah approached him and said, If you please, my lord, may your servant speak a word in my lord's ears, and let not your anger flare up at your servant. For you are like Pharaoh.
Okay, what's happening here? Let's start first. Vayigash Yehuda. Yehuda approached Yosef HaTzadik. Rashi HaKadosh said something very interesting. From that Yehuda approached Yosef HaTzadik, he said, Rashi HaKadosh, Rabbi Shlomo Yitzhaki, he born in a city of Troyes, in the north of France, 985 years ago. He says something very interesting. מכאן אתה למד שדיבר אליו קשות. Rashi said, from here you learn that Yehuda spoke very harshly to Yosef HaTzadik. What is Rashi trying to tell us? I'm going to bring the commentary of Al-Sheikh HaKadosh, Rabbi Moshe Al-Sheikh. Rabbi Moshe Al-Sheikh, born in the city of Andripoli in Turkey, that's Andripoli of today. He born around 518 years ago. He said like this. He said, first of all, we have to understand, why did Yosef HaTzadik, why do you have to speak to Yosef HaTzadik very harshly? If you look just 2 verses backwards, in verse 16, in Parashat Miketz, look in verse 16, 2 verses backwards, it says like this, ויאמר יהודה, מה נאמר לאדוני, ומה נדבר, ומה נצטדק? האלוהים מצא את עוון עבדיך. הננו עבדים לאדוני, גם אנחנו, גם אשר נמצא גביע בידו. Bechavod, Jeffrey, will you read for us?
Yes, I'll do it. Sorry. So Judah said, what can we say to my Lord? How can we speak? And how can we justify ourselves? God has uncovered the sin of your servants. Here we are. We are ready to be slaves to my Lord, both we and the one in whose hand the goblet was found.
Said Al-Sheikh HaKadosh something very interesting. The Al-Sheikh HaKadosh said like this. He said, if that's the case, why Yehuda, that after you agree, after you admit that you're going to take on yourself the responsibility, the punishment, that all of you are going to be slaves, and the person that stole the goblet is going to be punished. Why do you come now and speaking harshly to Yosef HaTzadik, to the ruler? You yourself actually paskin the judgment. You rule the rule. You yourself say that you're going to be all slave, and the person that the goblet going to be found in his sack, him himself going to be. So what are you complaining? What is your problem? Said Al-Sheikh HaKadosh, let me explain to you. What Rashi tried to say, that Yehuda spoke harshly to Yosef HaTzadik. At the beginning, Yehuda didn't know that when the messenger, the officer of the ruler, that Yosef HaTzadik, when he chased him, when he came and he told him that someone stole the goblet, Yehuda didn't think that anyone stole. But he said that if any one of us stole it, we're all going to be slaves. When Yehuda saw that Yosef HaTzadik, not willing to take all of them as a slave, he just want to Binyamin. Yehuda said to himself, wait a minute. I know that all 10 of us, all the 10 brothers, except Yosef and Binyamin, we all righteous. But we have one Avera. What is the Avera that we have? The Avera that we have is like this, that we sold our brothers. Binyamin was not involved with the selling, as we know. Binyamin wasn't with that. Yosef is the one that sold, so he can't be. He said now that Yosef HaTzadik, the ruler of Egypt, is actually not willing to give up on Binyamin. He wants him and all the other brother to leave. He knew that there is something here, that Yosef HaTzadik actually having targeted specifically Binyamin. And it had nothing to do with the sin of selling Yosef HaTzadik. Therefore, what happened? Yehuda started to speak harshly to Yosef HaTzadik. So from here, we hear something very interesting. Why did Rashi say, דיבר אליו קשות? מכאן אתה למד שדיבר אליו קשות. That Yehuda spoke harshly, because suddenly Yehuda realized that it's not because the sin, because if it was anything about the sin, any one of the 10 brothers, they should be punished, or all the 10 should be punished. But when Yosef HaTzadik, as a ruler of Egypt, because he didn't know that Yosef yet is their brother, when the ruler picked up on Binyamin, Binyamin never had anything to do with the selling of Yosef HaTzadik as a slave. He said, it can't be our sin. This is something else. Here the ruler of Egypt trying to plot something against our little brother. And here, what happened? Yosef HaTzadik planning now something else. But before, we'll see, before I answer that, what Yosef HaTzadik planning, we have to ask ourselves another question. Why from all the 11 brothers, only Yehuda standing up and speaking harshly to the ruler? Where's all the other 10? Where's Shimon? Where is Levy? Not only Yehuda. How come? On a parshat of the Dvarim, the Mefarshim explain because Yehuda took the surety on Binyamin. He given a surety to his father, Yaakov Avinu, that he gonna bring back Binyamin alive. That's the pshat of the Dvarim. But the Zohar HaKadosh explained something more important, more deep. He said, Nachon, that Yehuda took a surety for Binyamin. But Yehuda knew, when he said to Yaakov Avinu that he gonna bring Binyamin alive, he knew that he took a vow. And if he not gonna keep the vow, not only that he gonna have a punishment in this world, that he gonna sin, also for the world to come, he gonna be punished. That means he gonna lose this world and the world to come. He said, that's not gonna happen. I'm not gonna lose the world to come, because I know that it can't be that any one of us stole the goblet. Therefore, he started to argue with who? With Yosef HaTzadik, and he spoke harshly to him. Then he says something very interesting. Vayomer, be Adoni. Be, it's me, in me, my Lord. In me, my Lord. But in Hebrew, he said, be Adoni. What does it mean, be Adoni? In me, my Lord. What does it mean, in me, the Lord? We have to understand. I saw a beautiful commentary that brought by the Baba Sali. The Baba Sali is Rabbi Israel Abu Hatzira. He born in Morocco around 135 years ago, plus minus. Okay, and he says something very interesting. He said that Yehuda saying to Yosef HaTzadik, I want you to understand something very important. In my name, Yehuda, there is a holy name, Shem Havaya, Yud, K, Vav, K. And if you think that you're going to start a war with me, I can tell you something very important before you start. I want to tell you something that you must think twice. I want you to understand that in my name, there is a holy name. Therefore, the Almighty is with me, because Shem Havaya is in my name. In the name Yehuda, if you take the Dalet of the word Yehuda, you're left with Yud K Vav K. It's a very strong name. He said that therefore, you have to understand that if you're going to start with us, I think that you're going to come second best. Therefore, the Almighty is with me. Therefore, I suggest to you, don't start a war with me. That's what he said, Vayomer Bi Adoni. In my name, there is the holy name. The holy name of the Almighty, Shem Havaya Yud K Vav K. Now I would like just to explain and to connect it to Hanukkah, because today was Zota Hanukkah, the 8 days of Hanukkah. Yehuda actually fight with Yosef HaTzadik. That's for sure. He put Yosef HaTzadik in a situation that he didn't give him a chance. Said the Mefarshim, let me tell you something very interesting. The Mefarshim explained that in the merit of that Yehuda fought for Binyamin, he merit for two things. The first thing, that his portion in the land of Eretz Israel gonna be where? In Har Zion. Har Zion is just below Har HaBayit. Very near to Har HaBayit, that's Har HaMoriah. Who's Har HaMoriah in a portion of who? Of Binyamin. That means the Bet HaMikdash, the area of Bet HaMikdash, it's in a portion of Binyamin. But another interesting thing, that on the merit of that Yehuda didn't give up on Yosef HaTzadik, what's happened? Listen to that. That we read for the last 8 days about all the sacrifice of the prince. Said the Mefarshim, who was the first one that brought the korban? Who was the first one? It was from the tribe of Yehuda. Who was it? Said the Mefarshim, the first one was Nahshon ben Aminadav. Nahshon ben Aminadav, he was the first prince to bring his sacrifice. Why Davka him? Why not? Because there is Reuven, there is Shimon. Levy doesn't count because Levin doesn't bring. But why not Reuven, that he's the firstborn? If not the firstborn, the secondborn? No, only Yehuda. He said, because Yehuda fought for Binyamin, he merited that from his tribe, in a time that they're going to inaugurate the tabernacle in the wilderness, from his tribe, the prince, Nahshon ben Aminadav, he will be the first one to bring the sacrifice. Okay. Until now, we understand that part. Now become the second question that we have to ask. And we have to understand, why did Yosef done all what he done? Why did Yosef have to push them to the limit? Okay? Why did Yosef done what he done, that he pushed the brother to the limit? That's gonna push us, and we're gonna read chapter 45, verse 1, and from here we can understand what's cooking on here. Look what it said. ולא יכול יוסף להתאפק לכל הניצבים עליו, ויקרא, הוציאו כל איש מעלי, ולא עמד איש איתו, בהתוודע יוסף אל אחיו.
Now Joseph could not restrain himself in the presence of all who stood before him. So he called out, "Remove everyone from before me." Thus no one remained with him when Joseph made himself known to his brothers.
On a pshat of the dvarim, Yosef couldn't keep it anymore, couldn't restrain himself, and he decided to reveal himself to his brother. Pshat of the dvarim. But on a pshat of the dvarim, why did Yosef push them to the limit? And here we're going to bring at least 4 or 5 answers. At least 4. On a pshat of the dvarim, because Yosef pushed them to the limit, and when he saw how much the brothers suffering from that they sold him, their brother, they didn't know that he's the ruler, Yosef, he saw how much they suffering, how much pain they are for all of those years. He realized that he wanted to reveal himself because he couldn't take it anymore, because he realized what they carrying with them for so many years. Another interpretation that Hazal explained, that Yosef HaTzadik saw that he pushed them to the limit. And if he's going to push a little bit more, that's going to be the straw that broke the camel's back. Now he's going to cause a war with his brother. And he knows the strength of his brother. And he knows that Levy and Shimon, what damage they done to Shechem. And he knows what's going to happen. Therefore, he decided on the pshat of the dvarim. Listen, it's enough. I pushed them to the limit. Now I'm stepping back. I'm going to reveal myself. Okay. Another interpretation that's brought by Or HaChaim HaKadosh, Rabbi Chaim ben Attar, he born in the city of Salim, Morocco, 329 years ago, plus minus. In his commentary, Or HaChaim HaKadosh, he explained like this, that Yosef, when he said that he couldn't restrain himself anymore, he couldn't wait that the Egyptian will leave the room. Why? Because he wanted to reveal himself to the brothers. But the Egyptian was not in a hurry to leave the room, because they wanted to hear what's going to be the end between the brothers. So Yosef HaTzadik couldn't wait for them to leave. And that's what it said immediately. Hotziu kol ish me'alai. I want you, everyone in this room, to leave. Another interpretation, number 4. Said the Mefarshim, Yosef HaTzadik pushes brothers to the limit because he wanted to see if they love Binyamin. Why? Because he was the son of Rachel. Binyamin also was the son of Rachel. And he wanted to see if they're going to love their little brother and they're going to protect him more than they protect himself. Yosef HaTzadik knew that when the brothers saw it, when the brothers saw them, they didn't have mercy and compassion about him. He wanted actually to check, said the Mefarshim, if they rectify their sin. How did he going to test if they rectify their sin? When he saw that the brothers was willing to go now to war, 11 brothers to fight against the metropolitan of the world for the little brother, that's show Yosef HaTzadik that they're rectifying the cell of their brother Yosef. They didn't know that the ruler is Yosef. But he pushed them to the limit to see how far they was willing to fight for Binyamin. Okay? That we understand why he asked everyone to leave the room. Okay? By why didn't leave any gods? The Mefarshim say that by that Yosef HaTzadik told the gods to leave the room, he put himself in danger. He said, what guarantee Yosef HaTzadik had that the brother wouldn't kill him? They was willing to fight against the metropolitan of the world. And now, every normal person will say, listen, if I'm telling everyone to leave, at least I leave my God, my bodyguard. What are you doing? You're telling everyone, all the Egyptian, please leave the room. What's the chokhmah here? Why did he done it? I'm going to bring two commentaries, the commentary of Rabbeinu Bechaya, and then I'm going to bring the commentary of the Rambam, and it's go like this. Rabbeinu Bechaya ben Asher, he born in the city of Saragossa, and he explained like this. He born around 770 years ago, plus minus. He said like this. He actually bringing the Midrash Tanhuma, and he said that Yosef HaTzadik didn't want his brother to get embarrassed, because if he gonna tell the brothers, reveal himself to the brothers, the Egyptian will understand that the brothers sold him, and then he gonna embarrass his brothers. And he said to himself, I'd rather die and not embarrass my own brother. Why? Because we have a principle. The Torah tells us, Kol hamalbin pnei havero barabim, a person that embarrasses his fellow friend in public, אין לו חלק לעולם הבא. Yosef HaTzadik said, I'd rather die and not embarrass my brothers in the front of the Egyptian. Because the Egyptian gonna realize that I'm their brothers. And they know that they say that they sold their brothers. Because Yehuda, when he been confronting Yosef HaTzadik, he said to him that we have one sin. So Yosef HaTzadik was embarrassed. Yosef HaTzadik was so worried that he's not going to embarrass his brother in public. That's Rabbeinu Bechaya. The Ramban, Rabbi Moshe ben Nachman, he born in the city of Catalonia in Spain, and he born around 831 years ago, plus minus. He explained like this, that the main reason that Yosef asked the Egyptian to leave is for the simple reason, because Yosef HaTzadik was frightened that the Egyptian going to hear the conversation. They're going to hear that Yosef revealing himself, that he's the brother that they sold, okay? And then the Egyptian will say, listen, what's happening here? The brothers of our ruler, the brothers of our ruler didn't have mercy on him. They sold him to become a slave. We can't allow them to have a citizenship in Egypt. Why? Because if they betrayed their own brothers, they're going to betray us. Therefore, Yosef HaTzadik decides to tell everyone to leave the room, and he's going to reveal himself to the brothers, because he didn't want the Egyptian not to give them a permanent, or what you call it, a citizenship in Eretz Mitzrayim. Another interpretation that brought by the Rabbi Levy ben Gershon, he born in France, he born around 736 years ago. He was a great rabbi. He wrote commentary on the Torah, and on the Tanakh he wrote commentary. In his profession, listen to that, he was a doctor, he was a scientist, and he was a mathematician. Look at that, the Ralbag, genius. And he said like this. He said that the main reason that Yosef HaTzadik told everyone to leave, because he was worried. What he was worried? Because when he revealed to himself, Yosef HaTzadik cried. When he was only with his brother, he cried in front of them. Nachon that he cried also before that, in a room. But he didn't want the Egyptian to see him crying in front of his brother when he revealed himself. And the reason is, said the Ralbag, that Yosef was worried that if the Egyptian gonna see him crying, the respect that they have for him, the honor that they have for him, gonna drop down. And he said, that's my suggestion to every manager, to every businessman, not to show weakness in front of your workers. And it's the same in a war. If the officers show weakness, immediately the soldier feel it. And that's what happened. If you look the difference between us to all the other army in the world, there is one great principle that it's a harai. Every officer say after me, I first lead and you all follow me. Because when the officer go in the front, the soldier feel more comfortable. With other armies, if you look, the officer ran first and they send the soldier to fight. There's no leadership. Say the Ralbag. Yosef couldn't show that he's crying because that's going to bring his authority, his respect and honor in the eye of the Egyptian, going to bring it down. And he didn't want it. And now we can understand from here, why did Yosef HaTzadik, number one, pushed himself to the limit? Number two, why he told all the Egyptians to leave the room and put himself in danger. Let's go to verse 3. And in verse 3, we see something very, very interesting. Look what it says. Vayomer Yosef el Echav. Ani Yosef, ha'od avi hai, velo yachlu Echav la'anot oto, ki nivhalu mipanav.
And Joseph said to his brothers, I am Joseph. Is my father still alive? But his brothers could not answer him, because they were left disconcerted in front of him.
In a chapter of the Dvarim, Yosef asked the brothers and revealed to them, I'm Yosef, I'm still alive. I'm your brother Yosef, I'm still alive. Is my father still alive? And many of the Mefarshim asked, whoa, Yosef, stop here. You are already 7 years a ruler in Egypt. Okay? Plus another 2 years of famine, 9 years you're a ruler in Egypt. Why you didn't reveal yourself on the years of plenty, on the first 7 years of plenty, and told to your father that you are alive and you're the ruler in Egypt? Why you decide now, after 2 years of famine, to reveal yourself to the brother only after they came to Egypt? What's the hidush? That's the question of the Mefarshim. Ani achichem Yosef. I'm your brother Yosef, okay? I'm your brother Yosef. Is my father still alive? Why didn't reveal to his father that he's still alive? Why are you asking them after 9 years? What's the hidush? It's a very valid question that the Mefarshim. I'm going to bring actually two interpretations. The first interpretation of Or HaChaim HaKadosh, Rabbi Chaim ben Atar, he explained that Yosef HaTzadik didn't want to reveal, didn't want to tell his father and to reveal that he's still alive during the year of plenty. Why? Because if he would send a message to his brothers, to his father that he's still alive, the brother's going to hear about it, because the father going to tell the kids. If the brother would hear about it, say Rabbi Haim ben Atam, and it's going to find to them, they're going to go all of them to Eretz Mitzrayim, and they will kill Yosef HaTzadik. Why? Because the embarrassment that it's going to cause them. He said the brothers, they're going to Eretz Mitzrayim, and they'll kill Yosef HaTzadik, the ruler. Why? Because they don't want to be embarrassed for the act, the deeds that they done, that they sold Yosef. I saw another interpretation that brought, I didn't see it, I read about it, in Shut Chachmei Tzarfat. What it means, Shut? Shut, the Rashi Tevot, acronym of She'elot u'Tshuvot. She'elot is question and answer. But that question also been asked in a book of Chachmei Tzarfat. Chachmei Tzarfat is the sages of Tzarfat, the scholar people of Tzarfat. Why Yosef didn't reveal to his father that he's alive and he's the ruler? Say Chachmei Tzarfat like this. They bringing a different interpretation. They say like this. He say, if the brother would hear that Yosef is still alive, they're going to have an argument amongst them. And the might going to start fighting. And that's going to lead that each one of them, from embarrassment, from the brothers, the other brothers, from the father, going to immigrate to a different country. And that's going to cause a split in the family. Yosef decides not to reveal himself during the year of plenty. Only when the brother came down to Egypt, then he decided to reveal. Because if he would send the message, say Chachmei Tzarfat, the brother gonna argue. You see, I told you not to kill him. I told you to throw him to the pit. I say no, but I told you just to sell them. But if you would tell us not to sell them, because you was a king on us, they would say to Yehuda, we wouldn't sell them, we would listen to you. And the argument will start like this, and the snowball gonna start rolling. Where's it gonna end? Say Chachmei Tzarfat, therefore, Yosef decided not to cause any arguments amongst the family. Just for general knowledge. Rabotai, Yosef HaTzadik, for all of those 17 years that Yaakov Avinu lived with him in Egypt, listen to that carefully, he makes sure that he'll never be alone with his father. Why? Whenever he was with his father, had to be someone else from the brothers. That's going to be a lot of people. Said the Mefarshim, you know why? Because Yosef HaTzadik was frightened of one thing, that his father going to ask him, what's happened to you for those 17 years? Where did you disappear, my son? Where did you disappear? What's happened with you? And Yosef was so frightened that his father going to ask him that question, and he have to give him the true answer that the brother sold him. The father going to get cross, and he going to curse them, and that can lead to punishment. Yosef HaTzadik said, I'm zipping off. Where did he get that quality? From his mother Rachel. Although that Rachel knew that she supposed if she's going to marry Yaakov Avinu, listen to that, the 12th tribe going to come from her. But not to embarrass her sister, Leah, she given her all the son, and then she kept stum. Rachel was the macho for Yosef HaTzadik that he looked up to. Keep quiet. Even if you right, don't say anything. Therefore, Yosef HaTzadik makes sure that no matter what, he'll never be alone with his father. Why? Because if he's going to be alone with his father, there's a chance that he's going to ask him. And then you have to tell him the truth. And the punishment then going to be very severe. The same when Yaakov Avinu said to Laban, whoever stole your statues, we know what's happened. I don't want to open my mouth. So Yosef decided not. Let's go to verse 5. And let's see what it says. And I would like to bring a bit of a commentary of the Zera Shimshon, Rabbi Shimshon Chaim Nachmani. And let's see what it says. ואתה, אל תתעצבו, ואל יחר בעיניכם, כי מכרתם אותי. הנה, כי למחיה שלחני אלוהים לפניכם. בכבוד.
And now, be not distressed, nor reproach yourselves for having sold me here. For it was to be a provider that God sent me ahead of you.
Okay. Yosef HaTzadik comes at his brother, the brothers. What did he say to them? Don't get upset. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he's the one that sent me to Mitzrayim, not you. Not you. You know why he sent me also to Egypt? Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu knew there's going to be famine in the world. He sent me to be a provider for you during those years of famine. That's pshat of that one. But what can we learn from here? Rabotai, we can learn a lot of things from here. Yosef HaTzadik can keep grudge. Listen, the brother sold him 12 years far away from his father, from his little brothers, Binyamin. Not only that, you can imagine to be a slave in Egypt, and after that, to spend 12 years in a pit. Oh, mind-boggling. Yosef HaTzadik can keep grudge and can keep, let's call it like this, a sack of rotten potatoes on his back all of those years. But Yosef HaTzadik decided, no, I'm above that. I'm not going to keep grudge. I'm much bigger than that. I need to understand that everything is from the Almighty. I need to go above that situation and to understand that what the brother does to me, they can't harm me. If the Almighty didn't give him the permission, they can't harm me. And the Mekubalim say you have to understand something very important. A person cannot harm or neither do good for a person, can't do bad, can't do good, if they didn't get permission from the Almighty. But I would like to bring a story. And that will help us to understand what's happened. In France was a Jewish guy, have a beautiful restaurant, successful restaurant. One day, he's in a restaurant, he saw a Mishulach Sadali came without getting a permission, and he saw that it's a kosher restaurant, and he walked from the people that in a restaurant and asked him for a little bit of donation. And the owner of the restaurant looked at him at the beginning, and he started to get cross. Who given you a right to walk to my restaurant without a permission and ask those that dining there, that eating there, for money? Who given you the rights? What are you doing? And he got so cross. And he walked to him and he shouted at him, listen, this is not a shul here. You want to collect money, come to shul, that's where you should ask, not in a restaurant. Oh, the Meshulach saw that, he got embarrassed. He left before the owner of the restaurant had a chance to finish his sentence. He ran for his life. Run for his life. After 5 minutes that Meshulach left, the owner said, what did I done? What did I done? I embarrass a man in public. He obviously come to collect, Shem Zach. Another 5 minutes, he will make thing, he collect, and then he would leave. Oi, what did I done? Why did I done it? And he start kucheling inside. And he gone and he sit in his office. And he start talking to the Almighty. Listen to that power. And he said to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, please, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, forgive me. I want to do tshuva that I embarrass a Jewish person. Please send them back to me. Please. And I will do tshuva that I embarrass a person. And I promise, not only that I'm going to ask for forgiveness, I'm also going to reward them. That was on a Monday. On a Thursday, who walked again to the restaurant? The same Meshulach. But this time, he wanted to come and to buy food because he was hungry. With a little bit of money that he collected, he wanted to buy food. He walked in. When the owner of the restaurant saw that, he told all the waiter, come after me. He approached the Meshulach and he said to him, listen, I want to talk to you. The Meshulach said, oh, now what? He said to him, listen, I want to apologize to you. Promise me that you forgive me. He said, no, there's not, no, sit here. Sit with me. They sit. He said to him, I'm going to make sure that I'm ordering for you. You're not going to order for yourself. He gave him the course meal, and he was sitting with him, and he said to him, listen, I'm sorry what happened. And he said to him, no, I understand. He said, but you have to understand that what I've done, it was from dire straits, said the Meshulach. I'm going from place to place. And I didn't collect any money. The only money that I managed to collect is for this meal that I'm going to pay now. He said, this meal you're not going to pay. And not only that, me, myself, I'm going to give you 500 euro. He says, so what are you doing here? I said, I come to collect money for my daughter for the wedding. He said, what did you have in mind? He said, I'll tell you the truth. I have in mind to collect 2,000 euros. He said, when are you flying back? He said, on Sunday. He said, so Shabbos, where are you? He said, no, not to work. He said, no, Shabbos, you're coming with me. You're coming, you're staying with me, you're eating with me, you're spending Shabbos with me. No, it's not. He said, it's not a question. I'm telling you where you're going to be. In the meantime, the owner of the restaurant started picking the phone to all of his friends. I have a Meshulach here. Here and there, already collect another 500. On Shabbos, he spoke to his friend in a shul. They managed to collect another 1,000 euro. In total, 2,000. The Meshulach came to him and he said to him, thank you very much. He said to him, I want to explain to you something. When you embarrassed me, I didn't say to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, listen, not enough that I didn't collect money. Now I need to embarrassment. I didn't complain. I said to the Almighty, if that's what I need, I accept. If that's what I deserve to come to France, to get embarrassment and to go back to Eretz Israel with nothing, not even covering my air ticket, I'm not complaining. I deserve it. Say the Mefarshim like this. From here you learn, when a person have to understand that everything is from the Almighty, and whatever HaKadosh Baruch Hu do, it's only for good, כי אין רעה יורדת מן השמיים, nothing bad coming down from heaven. Whatever happened, it's only for the benefit of myself. I'm going to get benefit from it. Immediately you see the miracle. And that's what happened with that Meshulach. When he accepted that whatever HaKadosh Baruch Hu done to him, it was only for good, everything changed. And that's the Hidush say. And that's what Yosef HaTzadik saying to his brothers. You must understand, it's not because you that sent me here. I know that that's the Almighty. If the Almighty send me, that's what's supposed to be. And that's the reason that I'm here in Eretz Mitzrayim. Let's go now to verse 26. And in verse 26, we see something very, very interesting. Wow, the time is running. Wow. Hope that I managed to do more. Okay. ויגידו לו לאמור, עוד יוסף חי, וכי הוא המושל בכל ארץ מצרים. ויפג ליבו, כי לא האמין להם.
Sorry, Rob, you said verse 26.
26. Verse 26. Verse 26. Chapter 45, verse 26.
Chapter 45.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Verse 26.
Sorry,
45,
Rob.
26.
Sorry.
We was in verse 5. Go to verse
yes,
26.
Got it. Verse 26.
Yes.
And they told him, saying, Joseph is still alive, and that he is ruler over all the land of Egypt. But his heart rejected it, for he could not believe them.
What's happening here? All the Mefarshim, and the first interpretation, the first question that I'm going to bring, before I bring the interpretation, is the question of Al-Sheikh HaKadosh. He said that the brother told Yaakov Avinu, Yosef is alive and he's the ruler in Egypt. Why did you tell your brother, your father, that Yosef is alive and he's the ruler? Not enough to say he's the ruler in Egypt, then the father will understand that he's alive. Why the brother have to say to Yaakov Avinu that Yosef is alive? And not only that Yosef is alive, he's the ruler in Egypt. What's the Hidush? If you say that he's the ruler, obviously that he's alive. That's the question of the Al-Sheikh HaKadosh, Rabbi Moshe Al-Sheikh. Say the Al-Sheikh HaKadosh something very interesting. The brothers, not for nothing, say Yosef is still alive. And not for nothing they say that he's a ruler. Yaakov Avinu knew that Eretz Mitzrayim is Ervat Haaretz. What it means, the Ervat Haaretz? Chazal explain, our sages explain that Egypt was the most impure place on earth. When it's come to immorality, it was completely. Everything there was revolved around immorality. The brothers shame to the father that Yosef is alive and he's the ruler, not for nothing. Rabotai, the Gemara in Masechet Brachot in page 18, Volume 1 says something very interesting. The Gemara says like this, Tzadikim ro'im hayim b'chayehem, v'resha'im af b'chayehem ro'im metim. What does it mean? A tzaddik consider as a living person, okay, while they're alive, if they're dead or if they're alive. But a wicked person, although that he's alive, he considers a dead person. The brothers knew that what's important to their father, Yaakov Avinu, that is yourself kept his spiritual life or not? What did they say to him? They said to him, Dad, our brother's Yosef is alive. Spiritually, he's still alive. He's not dead. Not only physically he's alive, also spiritually he's alive. But not only that he's alive, he's the ruler. That means that yourself managed to become a ruler because he's kept his spirituality. That means that he's kept himself not to sin with the worst thing in Eretz Mitzrayim. And Hazal tell us that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, when he gone down, if you look at chapter 46, 28, HaKadosh Baruch Hu saying to Yaakov Avinu that I will go with you down to Egypt. Okay, you know why? Because Yaakov Avinu was worried that if the holy divine of HaKadosh Baruch Hu not going to go down with him. Why? Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu knew that if angel going to accompany Yaakov Avinu to Egypt, they might going to contaminate it. Yaakov Avinu now, when he heard that his son, Yosef HaTzadik, is alive, that means that he kept all the mitzvot. And he guarded himself not to sin with immorality. That was one. Number two, he became the ruler. How? Now you're going to ask, how's the brother knew that Yosef morally, okay, and spiritually still alive, that he didn't sin? How did Yosef reveal himself to his brother? He told him, Kshuna Elai, come closer to me. If you look at Rashi and the Mefarshim say that Yosef HaTzadik, when he stood in the front of the brother, he showed the brother that he's circumcised, that he done Brit Milah. But many of the Egyptians done Brit Milah, we know. So what's the Hidush here? Most of Egypt done Brit Milah because Yosef HaTzadik forced them. We explained in previous parshat. The brothers was tzaddikim. They can see if he kept himself from sinning with immorality. Because on a Brit Kodesh, a person can see if he's on a spiritual level, if he's alive or not. When the brothers saw that, they realized that the brother that's standing in the front of them, the main reason that he became a ruler in Egypt, because he's kept his spiritual life. That's why he became a ruler, because he never sinned. Now, when they gone back to Eretz Canaan, to Eretz Israel, what did they say to their father? Dad, our brother Yosef is alive, that his spiritual life is on a high level. Number two, he became a ruler because, listen to that, he kept his spiritual life. HaKadosh Baruch Hu rewarded him to become the ruler on Egypt. Why? Because he guarded himself from immorality, exactly the opposite of Egypt. Now he becomes the ruler on him. And that's the Hidushia, said Al-Sheikh HaKadosh. That's why the brothers, when they spoke to their fathers, he said to them that Yosef is still alive and he's the ruler. Okay, from here we understand. But Yosef, Yaakov Avinu didn't want to accept what they telling him. He couldn't take it. Said the Mefarshim, asked the Mefarshim, wait, if that's the case, who told Yaakov Avinu that Yosef is still alive? And who makes sure that he will understand it. The brothers called Serah bat Asher. Asher, one of the tribes, have a daughter, her name was Serah. She knew how to play the violin. They called her and they said, listen, we don't know how to bring that rumor to our fathers. We want you to play on the violin and mention that Yosef is still alive. That the word that Yosef is still alive will penetrate to him. And that's what Serah bat Asher done. She played the violin and she used to sing to her grandfather. When the coin dropped and Yosef and Yaakov Avinu realized that his son Yosef is still alive, what did he bless Serah bat Asher? He said to her, Serah, you brought life to me. I'm going to bless you with full life. And Serah bat Asher left until the time of the Talmud Yerushalmi was been written. And Hazal said that Rabbi Yohanan, that wrote the Yerushalmi, one day was explaining what's happening with Yosef and the splitting of the sea and everything. And he was talking, and suddenly an old woman from the women's section in a shul said to him, Rabbi, it wasn't exactly like this. I was there. I'm Serah bat Asher. Serah bat Asher, Rabotai, still alive. Where? In Gan Eden. Lived for thousands of years. And she said to Rabbi Yohanan, that wrote the Gemara Yerushalmi, you was missing few things. I was there. That's exactly what's happened. Say that from here, when you hear the blessing of Yaakov Avinu, that the power of Yaakov Avinu has v'shalom, when it's negative, we saw what's happened with Rachel. But when he blessed Serah bat Asher, she's still alive today. Serah bat Asher was amongst the 10 people that enter Gan Eden with full body. She's still alive. She never died. Serah bat Asher mentioned, listen to that, in the book of Shmuel 2. The book of Shmuel will see there that it was a situation with Yoav, with the city, that he wanted to kill the entire city. She came to him and she solved up that problem, how she saved the city. We'll learn about it by Ezrat Hashem. You learn from here the power of Yaakov Avinu Bahir Sheba'avot. Yaakov Avinu said to Serah bat Asher, you brought me my life back, I'm going to bless you with long life. And that's why the brothers have to say that Od Yosef Hai v'chi hu ha-moshel b'chol eretz Mitzrayim. Now we can understand why they said to him. So Be'ezrat Hashem, that we'll hear Besorot Tovot, that we all going to live to see the Mashiach coming in our lifetime. We'll see him with our own eyes, but with mercy and compassion. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu will show us the miracle that he's in charge, he's the ruler, and he's going to reveal Mashiach, and he's going to solve and release all the hostages. He's going to sort up all the problem with all our enemies, not only the physical enemy, okay, also the spiritual enemy. So Be'ezrat Hashem, that we'll see Mashiach Tzidkenu speedily in our day, Amen Ken Yeh Ratzon. Rabotai, if there is any question regarding the show, please unmute the microphone. Bechavod. Ken, Bechavod, who want to ask first?
Well, Rabbi, I'll start, Rav, if I may.
Ken,
If I may.
Ken.
There are several issues. The last issue which we mentioned, which was very pertinent, when Yosef told the brothers, it wasn't you that sent me to Egypt. It wasn't you. It was Hashem to prepare the way, for, obviously, during this time of famine, and perhaps even prepare the way for future to bring the nation. But how do we know that not only that because he said that Hashem sent them, because the brothers did not know they were going to Egypt. They sold them to Ishmaelim. They sold them to the traders. They could have sold them anywhere in the world. they travel all over. So therefore, Yosef's statement's even stronger. It wasn't you that sent us there. You didn't even know where you were going to sell. You just sold me at the spot. You didn't even know where I was going. You didn't even care about me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
This is so Yosef was saying something very, very true. He knew he was just sold to people, and it could have only been Hashem that sent him. I mean, it's actually mind-boggling that Joseph said that. He had such emunah, because he knew it could have only been through Hashem. Going back to this question of at the beginning of Yehuda standing up to Yosef, you made a very big point here about with Rashi saying was harshly spoken. He was harsh at him. It shows you who, and Yosef was frightened of Yehuda, because he was the king of the family. He was the king, and he knew it. He knew who Yehuda was, but Yehuda didn't know who Yosef was. And it shows you the strength of Yehuda, of the strength of the Jewish kingship that's followed all through history, that they could stand up. And that's what we do. We stand up in front of the people, as you said, the soldiers, the officers, the leaders, the ministers, they're up there in front. And that's who we are. That's who the Jewish people are. And this is the case with Yehuda. Yosef knew. Yosef knew that he couldn't mess around with Yehuda despite being the king of Egypt.
Not only that, let me answer you something very interesting. I don't know if you know. Chazal say that Yosef, when he saw what happened with Dinah, that Shimon and Levy gone to kill the entire city, he said to himself, I pushed myself to the limit now. If I'm not going to stop it now, I'm going to have a disaster here in Egypt. Nothing going to stop. Chazal say, listen to that. Yehuda said to Naphtali is a quick runner.
Yeah.
I want you to do a quick run over Egypt. Come back to me and tell me how many cities. Each one of us going to take a city. In Egypt, we're going to destroy Egypt completely. The Zohar HaKadosh explained that not only that he said that to his brother. When Yosef pushed Yehuda to the limit, the hair on his chest stood up like a spike and gone through his clothes. Now remember, in that time, they was covered from top to bottom, very thick clothes, and it's gone right through the hair in his chest. That means that Yosef saw the anger that he caused Yehuda. He realized that I push now to the limit. Shortly, I'm going to break the camel's back. I have to stop here. The Zohar said that Yosef saw the hair from the chest of Yehuda going right through the clothes of Yehuda. He said, now I understand that I pushed it to the limit. The anger that Yehuda was so much that Yosef suddenly realized that's it. Pasok. Another step, and there is a disaster in my head. I don't want to take another step. Can you believe it?
Sure.
That the hair gone through the chest, through the clothes in the chest. That was the power of Yehuda. Hazal say that not only that, Yehuda put his feet on the ground, like stamp his feet. They felt like an earthquake in Egypt. Yehuda took 2 stones in his hand and he crushed them like powder, like this, become a powder. Yosef said to him, that's all what you can do? He said to his son Menashe, take 3, crush them, and he crushed them. That was the beginning of the argument, to show strength. But when Yosef realized that he pushed to the limit, that when he pulled back. I didn't say, what the Mefarshim say in the Midrashim and the Zohar, how, what caused Yosef to reveal himself to the brothers. But he pushed them to the limit because he wanted to do for them atonement for that he sold, they sold him, by that they defend their little brother Binyamin. And that was the atonement for selling of him.
Yeah.
You follow? That's the heading.
Yeah. Thank you. Sure.
Any other question? Bechavod. Anyone else want to ask question? Unmute the microphone. Bechavod.
Hello, it's Anthony. How are you?
ערב טוב, אנטוניו, ראש חודש טוב. כן, בכבוד.
Just you didn't talk about it, but Jacob meets Pharaoh. Why don't you just talk about that? Jacob goes meeting with Pharaoh.
Yes,
First of all,
yes.
Jacob blessed Pharaoh twice. He blessed Pharaoh twice. Why did he bless him twice? And also, it says you asked him, how have the days of your life been? And Jacob answered, they've been bad and long. Why did he answer him like that? The days have been bad and long.
Okay, so Be'ezrat Hashem on Shabbos, I'll speak about it, but there's many people here that not going to be in a show on Shabbos, so I'll answer. So Hazal say that when Yaakov Avinu met with the king of Egypt, now you have to understand in that time king is something, it's not like a king of today. You have the power to put people to death or not. If the ruler have, how much so the king? And Hazal tell us that when someone gets to a situation that he's a king, it's only from the Almighty. If you see a prime minister, if you see a president of a country, it's all from the Almighty. He's been chosen by the Almighty, he doesn't have. And when Paro obviously sent his chariot to welcome Yaakov Avinu, Yaakov Avinu blessed him that the water of the Nile always gonna come up towards his feet. Okay? Why? Because number one, what he done to Yosef HaTzadik. Number two, that what he gonna do for the Jewish people. The Egyptian loved the Jewish people.
Yeah, they did.
The Egyptian couldn't honor enough the Jewish people. What happened? When the Jewish people suddenly decide to become like them, that's when they don't like us. Rabotai, the Goyim love us when we are Jews. They hate us when we try to be like them.
Yeah.
You follow? Now, for your second question that you asked, why you say Yaakov Avinu answer to Pharaoh that he's in He's 130 and he had long and harsh life, bad life. For two reasons. On a pshat of the dvarim, that he was worried from Ain Hara, from the evil eye. But another interpretation is that Yaakov Avinu told Pharaoh, listen, you think that I look old and I look happy, you see me now, because now I managed, after 17 long years of separation from my beloved son, from my beloved wife, the son that I really love. Now you see me happy. Now you see that I'm the Holy Spirit with me. You see me a different person. But all my life I suffered. When I'm born, I have my brother Esav. Then he wanted to kill me, I need to fled. Then I have a problem with my father-in-law Lavan Arasha, how much chores he given him. After Lavan, the story of Dinah. After Dinah, you have the story of Rachel. After the story of Rachel, Yosef disappeared. That's what we read in parshat Vayeshev. Vayeshev Yaakov be'eretz megorei aviv. Okay, he wanted to sit in peace and harmony. So say Yaakov Avinu to Pharaoh, I didn't have peace and tranquility in my life. What you see me now, it's because now I'm gathering back with my lost son. Follow?
Yes, I see.
Follow, Antonio?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, I see.
Any other question? Any other question?
Why does it mention all the children of Levy, Shimon, all the children's names? Each of the children's names.
Antonio, I didn't hear a word you're saying. The connection is not right, and try to speak to the microphone.
They mute all of us.
Say again.
Mute all of us and see if it works.
Can you hear me now?
Wait 1 second. Wait, I'm going to mute everyone. Okay, try now.
Can you hear me now?
Now I can hear you.
Why does it mention all the names of Levy, Shimon's children, each one with their children's names? In the parshat, mentions all the names of the children, of Levy's children, and mentions Shimon's children, Daughters' children, mentions all their names in detail.
Okay, it's come to tell you that we say, what do we say in Agada? ב-70 נפש ירדו אבותינו למצרים. That our sages, when they gone to Egypt originally, when Yaakov Avinu gone with his sons to Egypt, how many people there was? 70. That's it. To tell you that the children of Israel, when they gone to Egypt, there were 70 people. When they left, they multiplied to keep the promise of HaKadosh Baruch Hu that he told Avraham Avinu. והרבה הרבה את זרעך כחול אשר על שפת הים. And like the star in heaven. And that's what's happened. ויפרו וירבו, that the children of Israel got multiplied in Egypt. You follow? בסדר, Antonio? Sorry?
Thanks very much.
Pleasure. Anthony, I'm going to mute you. Guys, if anyone want to ask other question, please unmute. Anyone want to ask another question?
Hello, everybody.
Oh, Erev Tov, Orna. How are you?
Erev Tov, Chodesh Tov, almost Shabbat Shalom. I just wanted to mention, I didn't want to ask, I just wanted to mention that Serach Bat Asher was the one who told Moshe Rabbeinu where to find the coffin of Yosef.
Yosef was walking for 3 days in Egypt and he couldn't find until someone told him, "What are you looking? What are you looking? You're walking all over." He said, "I'm looking for the bones for Yosef HaTzadik. Where is he buried?" They told him there is a woman here that she lived during that time, and her name is Sarah. Sarah Bat Asher. Where can I find her? They sent him to Sarah Bat Asher, and he said to her, "Listen, we're ready to leave Egypt. Please tell me, where is the Egyptian buried Yosef?" And she took him to the Nile and she showed him exactly to the place. And Yosef HaTzadik, one of his things that he said before he died, "Don't let me be buried in Egypt. Please, I want to be buried in Eretz Israel." And Yosef HaTzadik, while the children of Israel was busy with the looting, collecting all the spoil of Egypt. In Egypt, he was busy with the body of Yosef. How did he find that? That Sarah Bat Asher took him to the place in the Nile, show him where is it, and then he said, "Ale shur, ale shur." That means, come up. A bull, come up, bull. If you're not going to come up of the sea, then we're not obligating for your vow that we took to take you out of Egypt. And that's how we find. But that's Asher, Sarah Bat Asher, already in that time was in the age of 230, 240 years in that age. That was early time in her life. When we're talking about the Yerushalmi or Orna, it was at least 1500 years later. So work it out that Sarah Bat Asher in the time of the Yerushalmi was close to 2000 years old. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, she's timeless.
That's Sarah Bat Asher.
Yeah.
And we'll see that even during the time of Shmuel HaNavi, in the book of Shmuel, in Shmuel 2,
Yeah,
that
I
was
remember.
a big fronta with Yoav, that he wanted to kill the entire city. How did she manage to save all the people? And she saved a lot of lives. Ken, shkoach, Orna, shkoach. Thank you. Any other question regarding the parsha? Don't be shy. You have a question, don't be shy. That's the most important. That's what we give him time after the show, if there is any question.
I have a question about Hanukkah, if nobody else has got any other questions about the parasha. Can I ask it?
Yeah, if I can answer.
Yeah, I hope you can, because it's got to do with the Sfirot, with the Aseret Sfirot. So we light, the first candle is equivalent to Chesed, and then so on, we go on. Chesed, Gvura, Tiferet, Netzach, Hod, Yesod. What comes after? Because the last one, Anera Shmini, is Malchut. I know that because all the Sfirot go down to Malchut. But what happens with the seventh candle? What's number 7 then?
So יש 7 ספירות, like you mentioned, יש 10 ספירות, מתוכם יש 7. You have to understand. ספירות, what is a ספירה, רבותיי? Let me explain to you.
Okay, I'm sorry guys, but I always harp about the same thing.
It's how HaKadosh Baruch Hu reveal himself. It's the character trait of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. How does he reveal himself in the world? That means ספירה. You follow? That means there is malchut, it's one of the character traits. Hesed is kindness, you know what I'm saying? And etc. So there is Shiva Sfirot Hanukkah. Bashmini, it's a different. Why? Because that's speaking already about above nature. Number 8 speak above nature. You follow, Orna? And above nature is something that not in the hands of other people. What does it mean? It doesn't look like nature. The 8 days that it was today, Zot Hanukkah, it's above nature. If people done anything today, and if they daven and they done what I told you to do on Sunday,
absolutely,
people saw today already miracle. Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu revealed in a way that you see miracle above nature. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, until the 7th day, include the 7th day, it looked like nature. But today, it's above nature. Everything is above. And Be'ezrat Hashem.
So which sphera is that?
You're talking about איזה ספירה, אני לא בדיוק, I'm not
you
sure,
know,
I
like,
can come back to you about
א'
it.
זה חנוכה זה חסד, ב' זה גבורה,
I think that I spoke about it.
תפארת, ד' נצח, ה' הוד.
נכון.
אז
יסוד זה 7.
יסוד זה 7, ואז זה מלכות, כי הכל מתנקז למלכות.
נכון. אז יסוד זה 7. יסוד זה 7.
היסוד זה 7, כן.
יסוד, it means the foundation. What it means יסוד? Yesod is referring to, usually when we speak about the Sfirat of Yesod, is referring to the
male organ. The male organ.
That's it. That the person keep himself, that doesn't sin with immorality.
It's not only the male organ, it's also the mouth. You keep your mouth also.
אבל זה בעיקר, ספירת היסוד זה בעיקר, מסבירים המקובלים שזה בעיקר על יסוד. מה זה יסוד?
שמירת הברית.
זה היסוד. זה היסוד של העם היהודי.
Okay, sorry everybody if I was getting heavy.
בסדר? אז קיבלת גם את התשובה שזה יסוד, שזה הספירה השביעית, ומעל זה הכל מגיע לאן?
למלכות.
טוב.
מעל הטבע, yeah.
That's kingdom. בסדר, Orna? I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, you did, thank you. I'll still make a מקובל out of you, Rabbi.
Me, I'm not a מקובל, I hardly know.
I will make a מקובל out of you.
בעזרת השם,
בעזרת השם. It's all about being a simple Jew and about ואהבת לרעך כמוך, אני השם. That's what it's about.
First, let me do the basic. When I get the basic, I'll go there. Any other question? Rabotai, any other question? Any other question? No more? Jeffrey? Sorry. Jeffrey, no more?
Not well. This the other question, Rob, but the main ones that you answered, I've what I wanted to know. Look, you just mentioned now. Owen has just mentioned. I mean, we're talking about the Yesod, and who's the Yesod? We're discussing him now. We're discussing Yosef HaTzadik. This is what we're discussing. This is the culmination of Hanukkah. It's the culmination of what it's all about.
That's exactly why we explain why the parshiot of Miketz, Vayigash always fall when?
Yeah.
On Hanukkah.
Yeah.
You follow? That's the idea. בסדר, רבותיי? Rabotai, I hope that you enjoyed the show. Thank you very much for joining us. I would like to wish all of you Rosh Chodesh Tov Umvorach to all of you. To wish you Shabbat Shalom. Those of you that can, and I would like to see you at Yeshiva College an hour before Mincha. It's going to be around 5:30. I'm going to send the time on a shiur. It's going to be most probably 5:30 at Yeshiva College in a big shul. I would love to see you. Then we'll speak in a different way. We look at the parsha from a different way, from a different perspective, more on a depth, Be'ezrat Hashem. In the meantime, to wish all of you Rosh Chodesh Tov, Shabbat Shalom, a beautiful evening to all of you, a peaceful to all the Jewish people all over the world. Amen. Ken Yehi Ratzon. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you for joining us. I hope that you enjoyed the show. Good night, everyone. Good night.